Good morning, guys. We're here at Pafford Woods, North Main, Stonington. You can hear the road behind me. You guys know North Main. People fly. Wanted to come over here. This is, I don't know, maybe a half mile down the road from Finner's Wood Preserve, where also on North Main, AVALONIA property. Wanted to come over here real quick, show you guys this spot, talk about it, and really what we're going to do with this is do an evaluation of what surrounds this area, both Pafford Woods and Finner's Wood, down the preserve, the other preserve that's on North Main. So what we're going to do is do an evaluation of what this land looks like, but how it's cultivated today, in terms of this property, Finner's Wood, the neighborhoods that surround it, and the roads that surround it. So we're going to kind of do like a retrospective of sorts, kind of looking at how Stonington has grown up in this area. Okay, I will explain that in better specificity in class. But it's a cool spot. This was became part of the AVALONIA Land Conservancy in 2003. It was donated by the Pafford Simmons family. Maybe some of you guys know Rob Simmons. He was our first selectman. He was a member of Congress, colonel, fought in Vietnam. He's married to Heidi Pafford Simmons, who's on our Board of Education actually now. And the family has owned and operated farmland here on North Main Street, Stone Acres, maybe you guys have heard of that, for a few hundred years. It's been family land and a family farm for, I believe, dating back to the late 1700s. I'll try to get more details on that. But the Pafford family has donated land to the AVALONIA Land Conservancy. Some really amazing spots, and this is one example of that. This is an area that was part of their property for many, many years, and when we look at this on Google Maps or LiDAR, you're going to see what this area looks like and how they still have some of that area that's still being farmed and cultivated. I mean, that's a functioning farm over there. Maybe we'll do something with that, the farm as well at some point. But what we're going to do right now is do an evaluation of this spot, kind of what surrounds it. The trail I'm on right now, the blue trail, there's the blaze. This heads over towards, I'm actually walking sort of parallel to North Main right now, and I'm walking towards Route 1 essentially. And this trail eventually feeds into a cove that you can see on Route 1 every day when you drive by. This actually delivers you right to it. It's a really beautiful spot. But essentially I'm walking through old farmland and areas that were once part of a larger functioning farm, and an area that's been set aside, for to be protected, to not be developed. Whereas we're going to see everything around it has sort of been developed. Even the interesting comparison I want you guys to make, and what we're going to do with this is we're going to do a comparison between the area where I'm at right now, well, me and Eddie, and we're going to compare that with the Finner's Wood Preserve down the road. What's in between the two? What's north and south and east and west of the two? And why? And then ultimately we're going to kind of we're going to rationalize the decision-making process when it comes to protecting areas like this, as opposed to allowing areas like this to become like everything else around it. So that's kind of convoluted what I just said, but basically, why do we preserve these areas? Why do we do it? Here, see some bucked up hardwood. Cut this tree here. This tree's in bad shape, man. Some branches that have come down, large branches, still alive though. But I would assume this was in the trail. I can see some Yeah, it's all over the place actually. Where they were cutting this up, all the branches. That's something else for us to think about. Why not take this out? Why not take it and use it? What do you guys think? Like, that's a discussion we can have. I mean, I burn fires all winter in my house. But why would they leave this here? That's something for us to think about, as opposed to cutting it up and taking it out. But that's a different discussion. What we're going to be doing is kind of figuring out why is it important to set stuff like this aside? Is it preservation? Is it conservation? Is it both? And what surrounds this area? You know, like, we can look at it. We live here. This is in our town. This is right in the middle of our town. And I'm looking out and I see nothing but trees. I hear the birds. Occasionally I can hear some cars. But the area I'm pointing my phone at right now, I can tell you there's stuff going on not so far down the road. Same thing this way. You know, every which way we see development. I can see the back of a house right here. Okay? So we preserve these areas. We set them aside. And for what purpose do we do that? That's ultimately what we're trying to answer. And then we're going to do an evaluation of what's around it. It's pretty interesting when you start to compare what's around a place like this. It gives us a little look into the values of our town, the values of the people that came before us, and sort of our stewardship of it right now moving forward. Because especially here in the Northeast, there are a lot of places that used to be like this that are parking lots and neighborhoods and have been developed, and that's necessary. So I'm not trying to dismiss that, but it's always nice to still be able to have these places. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do an evaluation of what's around this, not necessarily the preserve I'm in, but what's around the preserve. Cool little trail marking here. We could talk about that as well. Showing a fork in the road, if you will. The trail bangs off to the left and also continues to the right. We can see how they marked the trail on different sides of the tree to provide people walking back here, they can track where they're at as they come through. So those are important things. You know, it's like a dollar size marking. These are called blazes. We'll be doing this out in the woods behind the high school as well. Blazing those trails, marking those trails. That's something else. Okay, I'll talk to you later.